which is a fairly good amount available, because by thumb rule, the opening stock is about 1/3 of the requirement. On 30th, the secretaries of fertilizer as well as agriculture jointly took a VC with all the state agriculture secretaries, in which it was emphasized that the macro availability should translate into an equitable and a timely distribution in the last mile. States have also been requested to take up special drives so that there is no hoarding or black marketing or cross-border smuggling or diversion of fertilizer to non-agricultural uses. In August of last year, there was a campaign started for Dharti Mata Bachao Andolan Bachao Samitis at the Gram Panchayat, subdivisional and the district level. The states have again been requested to mobilize these local committees for monitoring as well as equitable distribution. In this meeting, the innovative practices undertaken by states like Madhya Pradesh, Haryana and Telangana were also shared with the states, which made the distribution of fertilizers simpler. For instance, in Telangana, they have a app for booking urea. It's a urea app. Farmer can book it, he knows when to go for it, he knows how much quantity he would get, so that there's no crowding or no fear psychosis at the local level. So these good practices, the Haryana's Meri Fasal Mera Bureau and Madhya Pradesh e-Vikas has been shared with the other states. The third major input is agrochemicals. There are three types of agrochemicals: insecticides, herbicides and fungicides. India is one of the larger producers of agrochemicals, as you can see from the slide. Sufficient quantity of agrochemicals are available. The states have also been asked to encourage biopesticides and other sustainable methods, so we are in a comfortable position with agrochemicals as of today. The price situation is also being monitored for the wholesale prices of all agro-commodities. By and large, they are within the normal range as they have been in the past few years. And the prices of the top crops, tomato, onion and potato, are in the range and are showing an improving trend at the wholesale level. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll have updates from Petroleum Ministry. Over to you, Sujata ji.
नमस्कार। जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं कि हमारी क्रूड इन्वेंट्री सफिशिएंट है और भारत सरकार ने अगले 2 महीने के लिए सफिशिएंट क्रूड के लिए अरेंजमेंट किया हुआ है। हमारी रिफाइनरीज उच्चतम स्तर पर चल रही हैं। रिटेल आउटलेट्स पर कोई ड्राई आउट रिपोर्टेड नहीं है। इस संबंध में मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि लगभग 2 महीने पहले जो ब्रेंट $70 पर बैरल की रेंज में चल रहा था, वो आज $100 के ऊपर पहुंच चुका है। इसके बावजूद घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं के लिए पेट्रोल डीजल की दरों में कोई वृद्धि नहीं की गई है। 6 अप्रैल 2022 से पेट्रोल और डीजल का दाम नहीं बढ़ाया गया है और मार्च 2024 में पेट्रोल और डीजल का दाम 2 रुपये कम किया गया था, जो अभी भी बरकरार है। घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं को इंटरनेशनल जो वॉलेटिलिटी है प्राइसेस में, उससे बचाने के लिए आप जानते हैं भारत सरकार ने एक्साइज ड्यूटी को कम किया ताकि घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं को बचाया जा सके और प्राइस में कोई भी वृद्धि न हो। इस सब के बावजूद प्राइस वही मेंटेन है और इसके फलस्वरूप हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को पेट्रोल और डीजल दोनों पर अंडर रिकवरी भी है। इसके साथ ही साथ आप जानते हैं कि घरेलू बाज़ार में एटीएफ और डीजल की उपलब्धता सुनिश्चित कराने के लिए भारत सरकार ने एक्सपोर्ट लेवी भी लगाई है। इसलिए मैं ये आप सभी के माध्यम से कहना चाहूँगी कि हमारे पास पर्याप्त पेट्रोल और डीजल की क्वांटिटीज़ उपलब्ध हैं और मैं सभी देशवासियों से विनम्र निवेदन करना चाहूँगी कि इसके चलते कृपया पैनिक बाइंग से बचें। नेचुरल गैस के संबंध में जैसा आप जानते हैं कि घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं को और सीएनजी ट्रांसपोर्ट को 100% सप्लाई सुनिश्चित की गई हैं। इसके साथ ही भारत सरकार ने पीएनजी नेटवर्क को बढ़ाने के लिए कई महत्वपूर्ण कदम भी लिए हैं और इन सभी कदमों के चलते मार्च एक महीने में लगभग 3,25,000 कनेक्शंस को गैस दी गई है, गैस सप्लाई चालू की गई है। इसके अलावा 2,85,000 नए कनेक्शंस दिए गए हैं और 3.5 लाख नए कंज्यूमर कनेक्शंस के लिए रजिस्टर हुए हैं। एलपीजी के संबंध में मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि हमारी इंपोर्ट डिपेंडेंसी लगभग 60% है और पिछले महीने के मुकाबले इस महीने जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्राइस है, सऊदी सीपी बेंचमार्क है, उसमें काफ़ी वृद्धि हुई है। $522 से $780, जो लगभग 44% इंक्रीज़ होता है। लेकिन इस सब के बावजूद घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं के लिए एलपीजी सिलेंडर के प्राइस में कोई वृद्धि नहीं की गई है। ये भी मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि इस प्राइस इंक्रीज से हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को अंडर रिकवरी होगी, पहले भी हुई है और भारत सरकार ने हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को सपोर्ट भी किया है इस अंडर रिकवरी को कवर करने के लिए। आपको जैसे पता होगा 2023 में भारत सरकार ने लगभग 22,000 करोड़ हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को दिए थे इसी तरह के लॉस को कवर करने के लिए, और 25-26 में भी इसी तरह लॉस को कवर करने के लिए भारत सरकार ने हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को लगभग 30,000 करोड़ रुपए का सपोर्ट अप्रूव किया। हमारे किसी भी एलपीजी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरशिप पर कोई ड्राई आउट रिपोर्टेड नहीं है। लगभग 92% डिलीवरी बुकिंग्स ऑनलाइन हो रही हैं। लगभग 81% डिलीवरीज विद डिलीवरी ऑथेंटिकेशन कोड के साथ हो रही हैं और डिलीवरी नॉर्मल है। कल हमने लगभग 60 लाख सिलेंडर डिलीवर किए हैं। कमर्शियल एलपीजी के बारे में जैसे आपको पता है कि भारत सरकार ने लगभग 70% तक सप्लाईज को इंश्योर किया है। इसके चलते लगभग कल तक एक महीने में 55,000 टन से भी ज़्यादा कमर्शियल एलपीजी सेल हुई है और 5 किलो के सिलेंडर लगभग 3.9 लाख 23 मार्च से सेल हुए हैं। कल एक दिन में लगभग 65,000 5 किलो के सिलेंडर सेल किए गए हैं। एडिशनल कैरोसिन भी स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरीज को एलोकेट किया गया है एज एन ऑल्टरनेट फ्यूल और 17 स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरी गवर्नमेंट्स ने इसके संबंध में एलोकेशन ऑर्डर्स भी जारी किए हैं। इसके अलावा जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि हमने अभी भी कई सारे र्यूमर मॉन्गरिंग्स होती है, पैनिक क्रिएट करने की कोशिश होती है, उस सब को इफ़ेक्टिवली कंट्रोल करने के लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से रिक्वेस्ट किया है और ये भी कहा है कि वो रेगुलर प्रेस ब्रीफिंग दें ताकि सही इन्फॉर्मेशन सभी उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंच सके। इस संबंध में कई सारे राज्य हैं जो अब ब्रीफिंग इशू कर रहे हैं। लगभग 17 राज्य प्रेस ब्रीफिंग रिलीज़ कर रहे हैं और एनफोर्समेंट एक्शन में भी अच्छा रिजल्ट दिख रहा है। कल लगभग 2800 रेड हुई और लगभग 500 सिलेंडर्स को सीज किया गया। हमारी ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज ने भी सरप्राइज इंस्पेक्शंस किए हैं और पिछले एक महीने में लगभग 19 डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को सस्पेंड भी किया गया है। अंत में मेरा आप सभी के माध्यम से देशवासियों से अनुरोध है कि पैनिक बाइंग से बचें, चाहे पेट्रोल है, चाहे डीजल है, चाहे एलपीजी है। घरेलू उपभोक्ताओं के लिए पेट्रोल, डीजल, एलपीजी के प्राइस में कोई इंक्रीज नहीं किया गया है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Now I would request Mr. Asangba from Ministry of Civil Aviation to give his updates.
Good afternoon and namaskar. As we are all aware, this morning there was a very significant announcement by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas regarding prices of ATF, that is Aviation Turbine Fuel. The Indian aviation industry has welcomed this important decision and strategic decision by the Government of India to implement this limited increase of 25% on aviation turbine fuel prices for domestic scheduled carriers on domestic routes. This measure provides critical relief as global energy markets face unprecedented surges due to the disruptions in West Asia. This intervention will ensure that domestic operational costs of Indian carriers remain manageable. For the Indian carriers, where fuel typically accounts for around 40% of total operating expenses, this move prevents a potential industry-wide crisis. The limited increase of 25% on the ATF price will allow airlines to maintain competitive pricing for domestic travelers, avoiding the additional fuel surcharges that would have been necessary under a market-linked pricing mechanism. The Indian airlines have also informed that such calibrated measures are critical for maintaining operational stability and financial sustainability in a challenging global environment, while also protecting passenger interests and supporting the overall resilience of the aviation sector. I would like to inform you that on a daily basis, more than 4.5 lakh passengers fly on domestic routes every day. And this announcement this morning will benefit all these passengers. The priority of the government is to ensure that air travel remains accessible, and this measure will also support the broader economy by ensuring the smooth movement of cargo and maintaining vital air connectivity for trade and logistics. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would request Mukesh Mangalji from Shipping Ministry to give the updates.
नमस्ते। मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पोर्ट शिपिंग एंड वाटरवेज पश्चिमी एशिया की क्षेत्र की ताज़ा स्थिति पर लगातार नज़र बनाए हुए है तथा मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर, इंडियन मिशंस एंड मैरीटाइम स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ हम क्लोज कोऑर्डिनेशन में कार्य कर रहे हैं। इस क्षेत्र में सभी इंडियन सी फेरर सुरक्षित हैं तथा पिछले 48 घंटे में इंडियन फ्लैग्ड वेसल से संबंधित कोई घटना रिपोर्ट नहीं हुई है। वेस्टर्न पर्शियन गल्फ रीजन में अभी कुल 18 इंडियन फ्लैग्ड वेसल हैं, जिनमें करीब 485 इंडियन सीफेरर सवार हैं। डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ शिपिंग, डीजी शिपिंग, शिप ओनर्स, आरपीएसएल एजेंसीज तथा इंडियन मिशन के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन लगातार करके मॉनिटरिंग कर रहा है। डीजी शिपिंग कंट्रोल रूम 24/7 ऑपरेशनल है तथा अब तक कुल 4,769 कॉल्स तथा करीब 9600 से अधिक ईमेल हैंडल कर चुके हैं। इनमें पिछले 24 घंटे में 70 कॉल और 245 ईमेल प्राप्त हुई हैं। डीजी शिपिंग ने अब तक इस रीजन में से 964 से अधिक इंडियन सी फेरर की सेफ रिपेट्रिएशन सुनिश्चित की है तथा पिछले 24 घंटे में 5 सी फेरर वहाँ से आए हैं। भारत के सभी पोर्ट्स पर ऑपरेशन सामान्य बने हुए हैं तथा पिछले 24 घंटे में किसी प्रकार के कंजेशन की रिपोर्ट प्राप्त नहीं हुई है। गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र, गोवा, केरला, आंध्र प्रदेश, पुडुचेरी स्टेट के मैरीटाइम बोर्ड्स ने निर्विघ्न संचालन की कंफर्मेशन हमको दी है। मिनिस्ट्री सी फेरर की सेफ्टी, वेलफेयर तथा अनइंटरप्टेड मैरीटाइम ऑपरेशन सुनिश्चित करने के लिए मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर, इंडियन मिशंस तथा मैरीटाइम स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ क्लोज कोऑर्डिनेशन बनाए हुए है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Now Randeep ji from NEA.
Thank you, ma'am. On the diplomatic front, we continue to remain engaged with the international community at large. Prime Minister spoke with Prime Minister of the Netherlands, His Excellency Mr. Rob Jetten, on Monday, 30th March. That is, both leaders discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral ties, but at the same time, they also exchanged views on the situation in West Asia and emphasized the need for early restoration of peace and stability in the region. Our External Affairs Minister also, he had a conversation yesterday with Portuguese Foreign Minister, His Excellency Mr. Paulo Rangel. Both exchanged views on the West Asia conflict, aside from discussing matters of bilateral nature. just want to give you an update on Indian nationals in Iran. We've had so far, our embassy in Tehran has facilitated movement of 1,171 Indian nationals. This includes 818 Indian students to exit Iran via land border into Armenia and Azerbaijan, and from there our nationals have been flying back to India. Of these, 977 crossed over into Armenia and 194 into Azerbaijan. We thank the authorities in Armenia and Azerbaijan for their support in facilitating the safe transit of our nationals from Iran. Thank you.
Thank you. Asim ji.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. The Ministry of External Affairs continues to closely monitor the evolving situation in the Gulf and West Asia region. We are according utmost priority to the safety, security and welfare of the large Indian community in the region. Our dedicated special control room is operational to assist Indian nationals and their families, and we continue to coordinate closely with state governments and union territories to share information and align our response efforts. Our missions and posts across the region are working continuously, operating round-the-clock helplines, and remain actively engaged with the Indian community associations, organizations and Indian companies spread across the region. Regular advisories are being issued, providing updated information for our nationals, students, seafarers and resident Indian communities. Our missions remain in close touch with the local governments. They are proactively addressing issues and concerns being raised by Indian nationals, including facilitation for visas, consular services, facilitating transit through neighboring countries where there are airspace restrictions, and providing logistical support where required. We are paying special attention to the welfare of Indian students in the Gulf countries. Government is making every effort to see that students' academic year is not impacted. Our missions are in regular touch and are actively coordinating with local authorities, Indian schools in the region, concerned boards and the National Testing Agency. Academic concerns, particularly those related to CBSE, ICSE, Kerala boards and JEE and NEET examinations, are being addressed through regular outreach to parents and students. An update on the status of flights. The overall flight situation continues to improve with additional flights operating from the region to various destinations in India. Since February 28th, around 598,000 passengers have returned from the region to India. Airlines continue to operate limited non-scheduled flights based on operational and safety considerations between UAE and India. Around 90 flights are expected to operate from UAE to India today. Flights are operating from various airports in Saudi Arabia and Oman to different destinations in India. With the Qatar airspace partially open, Qatar Airways is expected to operate around 8 to 10 flights to India today. Kuwait and Bahrain airspace remains closed. Jazeera Airways of Kuwait and Gulf Air of Bahrain have been operating non-scheduled commercial flights from Dammam Airport of Saudi Arabia to various destinations in India. Due to flight restrictions and airspace closure, we continue to facilitate travel of Indian nationals from Iran through Armenia and Azerbaijan to India, from Israel through Egypt and Jordan to India, from Iraq through Jordan and Saudi Arabia to India, and from Kuwait and Bahrain through Saudi Arabia to India. In attacks yesterday in Dubai, 3 Indian nationals sustained minor injuries. They are receiving medical treatment at local hospitals, and one has since been discharged. Our consulate is in close touch with the injured Indian nationals and their families and is rendering all assistance to them. As you are aware, an Indian national tragically passed away on March 11th in an incident on MT Safe Sea Vishnu off the coast of Iraq. In a separate attack in Kuwait on March 29th, another Indian national had unfortunately lost his life. Mortal remains of both the deceased Indian nationals have arrived earlier today in India. We have been in regular touch with their families and express our deepest condolences to them at this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we take questions from the first row. Okay, 4 and 67.
Hi, Sukal from Indian Express. My first question is to Sujata ma'am. Ma'am, could you help us understand the math of this ATF, the staggered, protracted price increase that has been effected? Because the ministry in the morning tweeted saying that 25% increase is being passed on, saying that it accounts for 15,000 rupees per kiloliter. Whereas in the same tweet, the ministry also mentioned that market link pricing would have dictated a doubling of the ATF price, which would have taken the price up by about 1 lakh rupees. So how is 25% of 1 lakh rupees 15,000 A? And when you look at the actual price increase undertaken by Indian Oil, they have actually just increased the price by about 8,000 odd rupees, 8,500 rupees. So again, how does the math work out between what the company has done and what the government has announced? And if there is actually there's a difference between the figures, then is IOC going to again increase the prices within the next few days? B, I also wanted to understand, after petrol, diesel and LPG, now effectively there will be under recoveries on ATF as well, obviously. So is there any plan from the government side to support the OMCs, considering that they're bleeding a lot of money on sales of other fuels?
67. Then 22.
Thank you, ma'am. Sapna Das here from CNBC TV 18. My question is to Ratha, ma'am. So something similar to what Sukalp has asked on the same lines, like how much would have happened the ATF high per litre if the government had not capped it at rupees 15, today's increase. How much loss are the OMCs bearing on ATF after today's decision? The loss, not really the under recovery. And what does staggered quote unquote mean, in the sense that today's ATF price increase is mere 8.6%. So by when will the remaining 25% be passed on? And one more question for Jacek Muka. You said that possibly additional fuel surcharge will not be levied after today's increase. Is that right, sir? Thank you.
22 also.
मेरा सवाल मंगल सर से है। ये जो कल एक खबर चली थी, एक शिप जो है कैरिंग इरानियन ऑयल इज हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स इंडिया, बाटेनार facility of Kandla port. So is there any update on that, and by when it is reaching?
Okay, we can take 145 also.
Ma'am, Prakash Pradarshi from ET Now. I had asked this question few days back. I'm asking it again. Oil Ministry says that the under recovery on petrol is roughly around 25 rupees per litre, whereas it is roughly 105 rupees per litre on petrol. So why is such a huge difference between these two?
Sujata ji, you have to.
Under recovery on petrol is at rupees 5 per litre, sorry, 24 per litre, and on diesel it is roughly 105 per litre.
We can have the replies, Sujata.
ATF का it's a deregulated product. So जैसा कि मैंने अपने ब्रीफ में भी आपको बताया कि क्रूड का इंटरनेशनल प्राइस हैज़ इंक्रीज सब्सटेंशियली, और क्रूड का इंटरनेशनल खरीद प्राइस कंपनी को बढ़ने की वजह से ये ज़रूरी था कि जो डीरेगुलेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उसमें कुछ प्राइस पास ऑन हो। इसी क्रम में ATF के प्राइस में इंक्रीज़ हुआ है, और जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि फुल प्राइस इंक्रीज नहीं हुआ है, पार्शियल हुआ है। इस संबंध में मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि जो हमारे डोमेस्टिक एयरलाइंस हैं शेड्यूल्ड, वहाँ पर पार्शियल इंक्रीज हुआ है, लेकिन जो नॉन शेड्यूल्ड फ्लाइट्स एयरलाइंस हैं या इंटरनेशनल एयरलाइंस हैं, वहाँ पर कंप्लीट द कॉस्ट हैज़ बीन पास्ड टू द कंज्यूमर्स, पास्ड ऑन टू द कंज्यूमर्स। जहाँ तक डोमेस्टिक शेड्यूल के बारे में जो स्टैगरिंग की बात है, लगभग 21 रुपये या 20 रुपये 98 पैसे के आसपास पर लीटर इंक्रीज़ है, और अगर आप नॉन शेड्यूल को देखें तो दिस इज़ मोर देन 110 रुपीज़। सो दैट्स व्हाट इज़ द आंसर। आगे कब होगा आई कैन नॉट से इट नाउ, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट विल टेक डिसीजन एट अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम। That may be because of the base price and the retail price. So I'm talking about the retail price. So there is base price on which certain taxes are also built up. So I'm telling you yes. So I'm giving you the complete picture, the final picture for the airlines. So that's one. दूसरा आपने कहा कि एमएस के ऊपर 24 रुपये पर लीटर अंडर रिकवरी है, तो एचएसडी के ऊपर 105 रुपये अंडर रिकवरी क्यों है? इसका बेसिक रीज़न ये है कि जो डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में प्राइसिंग है दैट इज़ लिंक टू सर्टेन इंटरनेशनल बेंचमार्क्स, और उस बेंचमार्क्स में डिफरेंस होने की वजह से इस प्राइसिंग में भी डिफरेंस देखा जाता है. व्हाट एल्स? I have already told you that. I have already given you the answer. So, जो 25% इंक्रीज बोला जा रहा है वो बेस प्राइस पर 25% इंक्रीज है. अगर आप डेल्टा का अगर देखें, जो डेल्टा इंक्रीज है उसका इट इज़ हार्डली 21%. So, I think rest of the things are policy matter. I cannot comment it right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will go to shipping ministry. I think that has been answered.
Staggered also, I have given you the answer. To protect the domestic travel, the partial increase has been done. When the full will be done, I cannot comment it right now because government will decide at appropriate time. That's why I said these are policy decisions. Thank you.
Ministry of Civil Aviation, remarks, please.
Okay. There was a limited question on the additional fuel surcharge. I think we are all aware that how the ATF pricing works is that on the first of the month, the ATF prices are announced, which is valid for the entire month. And based on that, since this crisis in West Asia started affecting especially the global energy market, started in the late part of the previous of February, and then of course the entire month this crisis was happening. So the airlines, seeing that the potential increase in prices would be there from 1st April, that is today, the airlines, some of the airlines had started levying a fuel surcharge. I think we're all aware of that. Some of them, this happened probably about a couple of weeks back. Now, this intervention, which was announced today, will effectively make sure that this thing, either the airlines will now recalibrate their pricing and then and pull back the fuel surcharges, or they will calibrate it in such a way that, but the calculation is such that it will not lead to further additional surcharges. So yeah, and obviously consequently not passed on to the passengers. So that is the answer. So the economics of every airline has their own way of calculating their financials and their economics. So they will do their due diligence, and I'm sure they will come up with and it's an open market, it's a competitive market. So obviously they will do their due diligence before pricing.
Yeah.
There was a question about ship carrying Iranian oil to Wadinar port. So as we know that oil companies are buying cargo from varying sources, and as such we do not have any specific information on this particular vessel. And as we know that already 6 Indian flagged vessels have passed that Strait of Hormuz. 4 have already reached, and 2 are expected to reach shortly to Indian ports. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the third row? Yeah. 190, 76, 17 and 11 then.
I'm Sahil from ANI News Agency. My question is for JS Mocha. To what extent are the Indian airlines currently hedged against the fuel price volatility, and does this ATF policy intervention reduce the urgency for hedging strategies? Thank you.
Yeah, again, see, every airline has their own strategy.
We can take the questions first. You can take all the questions.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, sir. This is Amit Bhardwaj from India Today. Again, question from Mocha. Because there is no clarity, I believe there has been some inputs given by the Petroleum Ministry, but the question remains that the staggered word, by when do you see there's a plan to further pass on the burden of increased ATF onto the airlines and further to the passengers, number one. Number two, you said that there is a possibility that surcharges could be, taken back by the airlines. However, what we are learning through the industry insiders that they are planning to bring in surcharges possibly on the routes where they have monopoly, and there could be the airfare could remain same on the routes where there is competitive market or less passenger footfall. So any clarity on that, and more so on the staggered part, if we can get a clear timeline, if at all the government has one.
17 and 11.
Hi, this is Atul Mathur from the Times of India. My question is for the Petroleum Ministry. We are hearing a lot of stories about migrant population going back to their hometowns. You have said that FTL cylinders are being sold to them, and 3.9 lakh have been sold so far since 23rd of March, and 65,000 yesterday. What was the number of FTL sold before, during the pre-conflict days? And do you think these numbers are adequate to kind of cater to this kind of population? And where do people get them? Because I checked 3 agencies today and none of them have had these cylinders. So where to procure these cylinders from?
Hello, Rituraj here from Mint. My question is for Petroleum Ministry. In the morning we saw the prices of ATF on the IOCL website. They showed 115% increase to rupees 2 lakhs per kiloliter. Then it was revised later. So was it a mistake on the part of the company, or it was a decision to revise it which was taken later? And another question, today I think premium petrol prices have been increased. So after the excise cut, was this price hike warranted? Thank you.
Okay, we can take one last here, 4 number.
My question is for Sujata ma'am. There have been some reports that Japan is in discussions with India for some swap of crude oil and LPG. Can you share any details on that?
Mr. Sangha, you will answer first.
Okay, so I think basically on 2 fronts. One is on the hedging. I think again, like I mentioned, airlines are, it's a deregulated market. So airlines have their own strategies how to calculate their economics and how to calculate the financials. So we leave to that, but we leave it to the airlines to calculate that. And this is true even for pricing of the fares, which is again linked to the surcharge part. So now airlines, they will, like I said, they will recalibrate, and of course, but we also have a very robust mechanism to monitor the fares. So if there's any abnormal surges in fares, then that is where the Civil Aviation Ministry also intervenes. So, but considering the fact that this intervention, because like I said, if it hadn't been for this, the pricing of ATF would have gone up probably 100%. And if you correlate it to the fact that 40% of operation costs is ATF for airlines, so that impact would have been quite, I would say, substantial. And then we also, I think all of us also aware that the Indian aviation industry is extremely price sensitive, because the moment the price rises significantly, then the demand also will come down, because other modes of travel become the chosen way. So that's how it works. So I think from that perspective, the airlines will do the, like I mentioned, I used the word due diligence, and I think that's what will happen in the days to come. As far as staggered, I cannot comment on that. It's something which my colleague here has already mentioned, and it's an evolving process, because I think this, in fact, this entire process has started because of certain situation that has arisen in West Asia. So as the situation evolves, I'm sure the government will also calibrate its responses and strategies accordingly. Thank you.
ATF में क्या इंक्रीज हुआ है ये मैंने आपको बता दिया है. दूसरा, आपने मुझसे पूछा माइग्रेंट लेबर के बारे में। मैं आपके समक्ष कुछ आंकड़े रखना चाहती हूँ। आज की तारीख में हमारे पास 33.5 करोड़ के आसपास डोमेस्टिक कंजम्पशन है। अगर हम इस आंकड़े को देखें तो एज फार एज LPG connections are concerned, we are very close to saturation. इसके अलावा प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना के अंतर्गत लगभग 10.5 करोड़ लोग जो इस 33.5 करोड़ में सम्मिलित हैं, उनको कनेक्शन दिए गए हैं और इन सारे लाभार्थियों को गैस सब्सिडाइज रेट पर दी जाती है। आम उपभोक्ता के मुकाबले लगभग 300 रुपये सस्ती गैस का सिलेंडर इनको मिलता है। उज्ज्वला लाभार्थियों में बहुत सारे माइग्रेंट लेबर भी हैं जिनको कनेक्शन दिया गया है और जो 14 किलो वाला सिलेंडर रेगुलरली प्राप्त करते हैं। माइग्रेंट लेबर के संबंध में मैं इनफैक्ट 5 kg FTL के संबंध में मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी कि ऑन एन एवरेज जो फिगर रही है वो 70-75 हज़ार पर डे की रही है, जो हमारे आंकड़े हमें बताते हैं, और हम ऑलरेडी लगभग 65,000 के आसपास ऑलरेडी हम पहुंच चुके हैं। तो दीज आर द फिगर्स एंड देयर इज एनफ सप्लाई ऑफ द FTL सिलेंडर। अगर कहीं पर ज़रूरत है तो और भी दिया जा सकता है। ये कहाँ मिलते हैं? ये अभी आज की स्थिति में डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स के पास है और कोई भी आदमी अपना ID प्रूफ ले जाकर ये 5 किलो का सिलेंडर प्राप्त कर सकता है। प्रीमियम पेट्रोल के बारे में आपने पूछा मुझसे कि एक्साइज ड्यूटी कम की है। Then I mean in this regard I will like to tell you that premium petrol constitute less than 4% of our petrol sale. हमारी हमारी घरेलू मार्केट में जितना पेट्रोल सेल होता है उसका 4% से भी कम प्रीमियम पेट्रोल है। जो एक्साइज ड्यूटी रिडक्शन की गई है वो जो बाकी 96% हमारे उपभोक्ता हैं, जो घरेलू उपभोक्ता हैं, उनको प्राइस राइज से बचाने के लिए, प्राइस इंक्रीज ना हो ये सुनिश्चित करने के लिए किया गया है। जापान का स्वैपिंग ऑफ क्रूड, आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट। थैंक यू। FTL is a commercial cylinder.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, officers. Thank you. Welcome, friends. Welcome to this interministerial briefing on developments in West Asia. I also welcome all officers from different ministries on the dais. And we'll begin with updates from the Agriculture Ministry today. We have with us Ms. Maninder Kaur Dwivedi, Additional Secretary Agriculture. She will brief us first. Over to you, ma'am. Can we have the presentation?
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्थिति को देखते हुए जो कृषि तथा किसान कल्याण मंत्रालय ने समीक्षा की है, PPT में दर्शाया गया है सभी जितने भी मेन फसल हैं, जितने भी प्रमुख फसल हैं, उनका पर्याप्त बीज उपलब्ध है। धान जिसका सबसे ज़्यादा अधिक मात्रा में उपयोग होता है 80.9 लाख क्विंटल, सोयाबीन 35.7 लाख क्विंटल, मूंगफली 21.1, मक्का 11.9 और बाकी तुअर, मूंग और उड़द इनकी पर्याप्त मात्रा में बीज की उपलब्धता है। ये बीज की उपलब्धता अक्रॉस द कंट्री है, मतलब सभी राज्यों में पर्याप्त क्वांटिटी में अवेलेबल है। इस क्षेत्र में जो केवल एक थोड़ी अड़चन आई थी कि मक्का हाइब्रिड को सुखाने के लिए LPG की आवश्यकता विगत माह में पड़ी थी, जो कि पेट्रोलियम मंत्रालय द्वारा समन्वय करके पर्याप्त मात्रा में उपलब्ध करा दिया गया और ये बीज का कार्य पूरा हो गया है। Looking forward for the Kharif this season as well as for Rabi, as far as seeds are concerned, we are in a comfortable situation. The next major input which goes into agriculture is fertilizer. though Fertilizer Ministry has briefed separately on this day before. The projection which has been done with the states in consultation with them is for an area coverage in this current Kharif for 1391.71 lakh hectares of area, basing on which the requirement of fertilizer has been worked out, which would be 390.54 lakh metric ton, and 46% is already available as the opening stock for the current season, which is a fairly good amount available, because by thumb rule, the opening stock is about 1/3 of the requirement. On 30th, the secretaries of fertilizer as well as agriculture jointly took a VC with all the state agriculture secretaries, in which it was emphasized that the macro availability should translate into an equitable and a timely distribution in the last mile. States have also been requested to take up special drives so that there is no hoarding or black marketing or cross-border smuggling or diversion of fertilizer to non-agricultural uses. In August of last year, there was a campaign started for Dharti Mata Bachao Andolan Bachao Samitis at the Gram Panchayat, subdivisional and the district level. The states have again been requested to mobilize these local committees for monitoring as well as equitable distribution. In this meeting, the innovative practices undertaken by states like Madhya Pradesh, Haryana and Telangana were also shared with the states, which made the distribution of fertilizers simpler. For instance, in Telangana, they have a app for booking urea. It's a urea app. Farmer can book it, he knows when to go for it, he knows how much quantity he would get, so that there's no crowding or no fear psychosis at the local level. So these good practices, the Haryana's Meri Fasal Mera Bureau and Madhya Pradesh E-Vikas has been shared with the other states.